Hi friends, welcome back to the Saturn box. Today in this video I'll be talking about Saturn becoming retrograde. Now this is something which happens every year. Saturn does become retrograde for a certain number of days each year, every year. So this is something which is a natural phenomena. It is there, it is mentioned in the Vedic texts as to how many days Saturn becomes retrograde every year. Every year for a period of about 140 days we see Saturn going backwards. Now in reality Saturn is not going backwards, it is just that from where we are, from our vantage point, we it seems that Saturn is becoming retrograde. So now this phenomenon takes place every year for about a period of 140 days, and this year on the 30th of June in the sign of Aquarius in the nakshatra of Uttara Bhadrapad, Saturn will become retrograde. It will remain retrograde till November 15. That is when it will start becoming progressive from the nakshatra of Shatabhisha. Right, so Saturn is going backwards. Now what do we understand about Saturn retrograde? First of all, if we look at Saturn is the taskmaster. Saturn is the avashyam bhavi, or the karm phaldata Saturn, as we call karm phaldata Shani, right? So it rules over your karmas, your deeds. Saturn does not understand your intention, or it does not understand what you boast of, what you talk about. Saturn believes in action, right? So it is like having a hard taskmaster, having a hard taskmaster as your boss, and that boss doesn't understand as to what you can do, or what you boast of doing, or what you have done in the past. Saturn says, okay, show me your work on the ground. Right, so it's a hard taskmaster. It believes in the actions, the deeds which you actually do. So in that way, if you see, Saturn actually controls all the karma which you generate. Whatever deed, whatever action which you are doing is controlled by Saturn. So Saturn, when it becomes retrograde, it becomes a little more powerful, a little more pushy, I would say. It's like a boss giving you a chance again. If you have left out something, if some of your work is pending still, it gives you a chance to go back and say, okay, let's just get your work going. So do whatever has been pending, or do go back and kind of catch up to speed. So Saturn becomes stationary for some time, and then it retrogrades. And while Saturn is in a retrograde period, that is from the 30th of June to November 15th, we all would get a very good chance to redo whatever has been has not been up to par, has not been up to our satisfaction levels, or something which you have to go back, something which is unfinished karma is something which Saturn makes you focus on. So before we go ahead into the video and understand as to what kind of effect would you see, or rather what kind of actions can you do, how can you utilize the retrograde Saturn energy in your life, in your day-to-day life, it is important to understand as to where Saturn is transiting in your birth chart, right? So see your birth chart, see where the sign of Aquarius falls, and that is where Saturn is currently, right? So we know that, I've already made videos on that as well. So Saturn is currently in the sign of Aquarius, whichever house it is in your birth chart. And now it is becoming retrograde over there itself. So now it is giving you a period of about 140 days, to go back, finish the unfinished tasks, or reevaluate what kind of karma, what kind of efforts or deeds you have to do with respect to that house. Right? So now for this, it is important to understand Saturn actually, rather than going too deep into dashas and other stuff, etc. Because Saturn, as I mentioned earlier, is a very strong planet. So irrespective of what kind of dashas are you undergoing, the effect of Saturn retrograde will definitely be felt. Yes, people who are undergoing Saturn Mahadasha or people who are undergoing Sare Satis, etc., will definitely feel a little more effect, feel a bit more of that impact of retrograde Saturn. But otherwise, irrespective of whatever you're doing or whichever dasha you are going under, Saturn's effect will definitely be felt. So let's see what does it hold for all the 12 ascendants. I'll do this in a very snapshot manner. The basics are understood by people. A lot of people do understand about it. I've already made a video also on this, but on the movement of Saturn, on the transit of Saturn into the sign of Aquarius. But let's just understand the impact of retrograde Saturn on all the signs. So beginning with Aries. Now for Aries, Saturn is retrograde in the 11th house. 11th house of gains, of wish fulfillment, of elder siblings, of whatever you desire, whatever you want to achieve. So here Saturn makes you reevaluate as to what you want. Get a little real about what you want. Right? So it's like, sometimes we make very big goals for ourselves. We want to achieve quite a bit, but we are not really prepared. We are actually not working too hard towards it. So Saturn being the 10th and the 11th lord in the sign of Aries, for the sign of Aries, I think this is a very good opportunity to get real, make smart goals, make smart objectives, real objectives for yourself, and be real about what to expect thereafter. So whatever you've been doing till now only will bear results. So something out of the blue or something really windfall is not going to happen. Saturn doesn't do that, right? So get real with respect to your desires, get real with respect to what you finally get, what you finally are expecting. Then moving on to the next sign of Taurus. So for Taurus, Saturn is a very important planet anyways, because it is a Yoga Karak planet, and it is in the Kendra Bhav, that is the sign of Aquarius, in the 10th house. 10th house is anyways by default, the house of karma, is the karma sthan, and Saturn is retrograde over there. This is a time to again get realistic about what can be done on the ground. What kind of projects can you actually take up? What are your actual capabilities? For some of you, it may also be a sign to be real, bite only as much as you can chew. So get real about the kind of work which you're doing, get real about the kind of projects you're doing. In fact, for the Taurus ascendant, I have been seeing charts, and I have been seeing people making very big plans, but they don't have the wherewithal, or they are really not too real about how is it going to go into action, how is a particular project getting rolled out in future. So they make plans, they start a project, but they are not able to see it through, right? So getting real about the kind of work which you're going to do, getting real about or rather being conscious about the karma which you're generating. So this is a time to fulfill all your duties, your responsibilities in whatever sphere of life, professional, personal, social, wherever your something pending is there, you need to go back and attend to it. Then moving to the next sign of Gemini. So if you're a Gemini ascendant, Saturn is your 8th and 9th lord. So being the 9th lord, retrograde in the 9th house, in the sign of Aquarius, Saturn is in fact pretty powerful. This is a time to get connected with your seniors, get connected with your mentors, with your teachers, your elders in the family, your father. Get the right guidance. Here again, for Gemini ascendant, you might be feeling that you can do everything on your own. Maybe you don't need any hand holding, maybe you don't need any mentoring. But here comes Saturn, the grand old man of all the planets, and Saturn is retrograde. So it is telling you to slow down a bit, check, get real about what can happen, what kind of guidance would you need to go ahead in future, right? Also a very good time to connect with the seniors, work wise or in your family, in your personal space. Connect with senior people, listen to good advice, be more receptive here. Maybe some of you may also fulfill their long journeys which were pending, because ninth house is also the house of long journeys. So if you were due to travel out, if you had to go out and maybe take up something related to education, some new skill set you wanted to acquire, this may also be a good time where you get a second chance to look at things. Your luck can support you, but how does it support you? By listening to good advice. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer ascendant, Saturn is a tricky planet for you. It is the 7th and the 8th lord, right? And it is retrograde in the 8th house itself. So we all know what the 8th house is all about: uncertainties, fear, phobias, unexpected things. It may be good, it may be bad, but something unexpected, right? So something which transforms you. Chronic diseases. So this could be a time to take care of your health, take care of issues which have been bothering you, overcome your health issues, overcome the fear or phobia or matters which stress you out, things which are holding you back from changing for the better, right? So it could be anything. It could be forgiving people, it could be letting go of useless things, it could be letting go of anything which doesn't serve you well. So get off that stress, get off that extra baggage, and this is a good chance to transform yourself. For many of you, this would also be a very good time to work on your finances, right? How are you managing your finances? How are you investing? All these things. How are you speculating? Maybe you have done some wrong decisions. You've made some wrong decisions in the past. So how are you going about your finances is also, this is a good time to revisit all that. Revisit the your relationship with your spouse's family. And for some of you who are awaiting inheritance matters to get sorted out, this may be a period where you actually get some help. Something moves, provided you are on the right side. Then we see the next ascendant, that is Leo. So if you're a Leo ascendant, Leo rising, Saturn is again, it's the 6th and the 7th lord getting retrograde in the 7th house itself. 7th house we know is very important. Kendra Bhava, house of relationship, house of your partnerships, your marriage, your spouse, and so many things. All the people who are opposite you, right in front of you, complimenting you or opposing you, right? So here, Saturn becoming retrograde gives you a chance to reevaluate your relationships. Those of you who are going through a patchy marriage, I think this is a time where you can rethink, work on your marriage. Or in case you have a partnership, you are doing some business, any kind of partnership which you have, any kind of contracts which you have signed, this could be a time to reevaluate, think, get real about things. This will also be a good time for Leo ascendant in general to work on relationships, right? How do you manage people around you? Have you hurt people in the past? Do you have certain relationships which require a relook, which you need to work on? So all these things are there. You need to, relationships would be the key while Saturn is retrograde here. Also, as I mentioned, a good chance to redo some contracts which might work in your favor now. Then Virgo ascendant. For Virgo, Saturn is becoming retrograde in the 6th house. Saturn is the 5th lord also. So the 5th and the 6th lord becoming retrograde in the 6th house. Trik Bhava, Upchay Bhav. So need to relook at your health, at your routine. Maybe if you fix your routine, if you mend in your daily routine, your food intake, your work environment, your working space, your health improves. Or in case with some of you, if there's a legal matter which is pending, if there's some conflict which you're dealing with, this could be a time when you get some help, or when you actually relook at the things, relook at the case, at the conflict, and try and understand if it's really worth it. What efforts do you need to do towards resolving conflicts? Also, in case you are dealing with any illness, this could be a time to mend ways, relook at the treatment or the medicines, the medical help which you are getting through. So utilize this time, I would say, because Saturn in your case is the 5th lord also, so it's not so bad. Then the Libra ascendant. So for the Libra ascendant, Saturn is again a yoga karak and getting retrograde in the 5th house. The 4th and 5th lord getting retrograde in the 5th house. This could be a time to relook at your future plans. What do you want to do? Get real about your future plans. What are you planning to towards your future, towards your kids? When we talk about future, your kids also come in the picture. Your relationship with your children. How do you for some of you, it may be a good time to think properly, use your intelligence properly. 5th house is the house of intelligence, of your wisdom. Use your intelligence properly to make plans for the future. Long-term plans. So all your long-term plans, can be seen. You can relook at them. You can, plan better with Saturn becoming retrograde over here. It will support you in a way as well. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Scorpio. For Scorpio, Saturn being the 3rd and the 4th lord becomes retrograde in the 4th house. All your domestic matters, whether it is your environment at home, whether it is redoing something at home, getting a renovation done, or getting some home matters sorted out. So it could be things related to your loan, it could be things related to which you wanted to fix around the house, you haven't been able to. Some people will also get the opportunity to finish an unfinished or an incomplete construction or house. So land related matters, property related matters can come up. You'll get a good chance to relook at all these matters as well. Right? So the focus is going to be home, the focus is going to be domestic issues, your land, your property. Right? So these things will take up time, definitely, for the Scorpio ascendant. Then next ascendant of Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, Saturn is the second and the third lord, and it is becoming retrograde in the third house. Third house of initiatives. Third house of what you think, what are you planning in your head, and then you take initiatives. Your courage. So some of you would definitely get a chance to, get motivated again, work towards your goals, take up that initiative which you had not been taking for a long time. Start action, right? So for some, it may have been a period of inaction or being very indecisive or a little confused about things. But now is a good time for you to reevaluate what you want to do, because the Saturnian energy is going to help you do that, and make a sure shot plan as to what you want in future. What should you be working towards? Then Capricorn. So for Capricorn ascendant, Saturn is the Lagnesh itself, is the ascendant ruler, and it is becoming retrograde in the second house, which is again owned by Saturn itself. So the first and the second lord in the second house of wealth, money, your pocket, your liquid assets. So all your cash, your jewelry, all the expensive items which you own, which you can liquidify easily, quickly, come under the second house. All your expensive personal belongings. So Saturn becoming retrograde over here tells you to take care of your money. There could be some chance of any loss happening, or any asset, or any important item, any valuable item getting missed out or not being attended to properly. So this is a time to work on that. This is a time to work on your family finances, right? So things which you had not planned well earlier, or which you were little careless about, this is a good time to work on it. This is a good time to consolidate your assets, consolidate your investments. And Saturn will definitely put some restriction on how you do things. So maybe you'll work, but you'll work towards all this, you'll work towards wealth creation, but with certain restrictions, whatever it may be in your case. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Aquarius. So for Aquarius, Saturn is the 12th lord as well as the first lord, and it is getting retrograde in the Lagna itself, in the first house itself. What does this tell us? Lagna is you, your physical body, you yourself, the person who has this Aquarius Lagna, right? So all the Aquarius ascendant people, what are you as a whole? What do you need to work on? Do you need to work on your health? Do you need to work on how you conduct yourself, how you come across? So health wise, personality wise, socially, or how you communicate to people, how do you come across, that your image as such needs to be worked on. So maybe this is a good time to get a makeover. It could be a physical makeover, working on your health. It could be a makeover in terms of your wardrobe. But more or less your physical transformation is definitely indicated when it comes to Saturn, or the way you conduct yourself. Saturn will give you a time to be more humble. So till now, if you were, whatever you were thinking, whatever you were doing, Saturn will bring you down, make you more humble, and in a good sense. Then moving on to the last ascendant of Pisces. So if you're a Pisces ascendant, Saturn is your 11th and your 12th lord, and it becomes retrograde in the 12th house. 12th house of leaving things. 12th house is a Trik Bhava. Moving on, letting go, moving away from your house, spending time away. So maybe something, your migration was pending, some travel plans which were pending, or you wanted to visit some secluded places or some holy places, some pilgrimage, or in some cases, depending on your age group, you wanted to go away to some retreat, to some camp, to some trek somewhere, etc. This will be a time to do that. This will also be a very good time to get rid of whatever doesn't serve you. Right? So it's a 12th house is the house of vyay, of expenditure, letting go. So whatever doesn't serve you, it can be an idea, it can be a thought, it can be simple, old clothes in the house, it can be old stuff in the house which is just lying, doesn't serve you. You don't use all that stuff, it's just lying, taking up space in your house. So this is a time to clean up, get rid of things, time to sort out things around you, physically as well as mentally. So if you need to forgive somebody, if you need to sever connections or move on without somebody, this will be a time when such things may also occur. There's a probability for that. So that was a quick analysis of retrograde Saturn. So Saturn becomes retrograde on the 30th of June till the 15th of November. That was my quick analysis. Drop in your comments whatever you feel as you go along, whatever has been your observation, do drop in a comment. And if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe and give me a like and follow the content if you like the content, right? So till then, I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye bye, take care.